Hello and welcome to Health Matters on Channels Television. Thanks for joining us. I am Mary Alale Yusuf. There are now more than 61.6 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 around the world. By November the 27th, global recoveries were over 39 million and over 1.4 million deaths were recorded. In Nigeria, there are a total of 67,220 infections, 62,686 people have recovered, and 1,171 have died. Recovery rate is 93%, case fatality rate is 1.7%, and 756,237 samples have been tested. We're waiting for that 1 million mark. People didn't know what to make of scores of strange deaths around the country in November. Now, talking about another incident. Lab tests later confirmed yellow fever as the cause, a potentially deadly flu-like disease spread by mosquitoes. It's characterized by a high fever and jaundice. Jaundice is yellowing of the skin and eyes. That's where it gets its name. It is more prevalent in Africa and certain parts of South America. My guest is a member of the Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria and the Royal Society of Tropical Medicine, Dr. Oladapo Ashinyobi. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
So, we just heard 20 people dead, 30 people dead, 53 people dead. What is the cause? It seemed so sudden. And I must tell you, it took the shine off COVID for a while.
One death is too many.
Okay.
For epidemiologists and for statisticians, we look at percentages. For people and family, their heart is grieved by one death.
Oh, yes.
That's why I said one death is too many. And it wasn't sudden. I mean, it would have started with 1, then 2, then 3.
But people were a bit puzzled, right?
Yeah, because we're not prepared for those number of deaths. Our eyes may probably have been on COVID for too much and too long. We didn't forget. It's just that when there's a saying that if there is fire burning you and your child, you'd have to quench the one on your body first before you remember your child. So COVID was a very big story. It was high on the agenda of the whole world. And so all the other things that were there were still happening. People were still having malaria. I mean, this is caused by mosquito. Malaria is caused by mosquito.
That's true.
Children were still dying of vaccine-preventable disease, one of which is yellow fever, because yellow fever is vaccine-preventable. People were still dying of diabetes and hypertension.
And there's still Lassa fever, like it or not?
None of our endemic diseases went away. The 3 diseases that were targeting for elimination, malaria, TB, HIV/AIDS, they're still there. They never went away. COVID just took the shine of everything and complicated your matter. So, by the time they heard 20 people were dying, people had to sit up. Now, it took more than a month, or even more than 2 months, for 20 people to die of COVID.
That is correct. Meaning that the fatality rate of yellow fever is higher.
Yes. Many diseases have higher fatality rate than COVID. And that's why people feel there is no more COVID. Because it doesn't kill as many people.
But is this fatality rate in Nigeria of COVID-19 the same as abroad?
Similar.
Similar. Okay.
It's similar. The fatality is similar, but the number of deaths are not the same.
Okay.
So, but coming back to this yellow fever, so that's why we didn't hear of it early enough. But God so good, I mean, within a week of the information coming up by people who reported it and the press got to hear, the system did what it was doing. And I'm sure they would have started doing something before we heard.
Okay.
It's just that often when things come through government official sources, it doesn't become widespread.
These symptoms of yellow fever.
Yes.
So far, we've mentioned fever and yellowness.
Fever, joint
seems to be the
pains,
only
legs.
characteristic, standout symptom of a lot of infectious diseases. If you lump them together and you say yellowness, at least you can draw out yellow fever. What are other symptoms by which it's known?
Well, it's just a regular thing that everybody looks like malaria.
Oh.
Fever, joint pain, body pain, chills, vomiting. Then after a time, now comes the yellowness. Most people actually have yellow fever.
The yellowness is not even
it's not part of the initial thing, yeah. Most people have, who start with yellow fever, will have every other thing but the yellowness for like 3-4 days, and they're okay.
Okay.
We're talking about over 50 to 60%.
They will be functioning normally.
They will be okay after 3 to 4 days.
Okay.
Then you just have about 15%. That's 15 out of 100 who, after the 4 days of having the malaria-like symptoms, 15 out of 100 who catch yellow fever will, by 1 day after, they will feel okay for 1 day. Then a day after, then the fever is still battling, but it just gives them a respite of 1 day. Then they go into this phase where you now get people who have yellowness.
Okay.
And other symptoms such as bleeding. Because really it is grouped around what we call viral hemorrhagic fever.
Which means there's going to be bleeding.
Yes. Like it's in the same family as Lassa.
Lassa, yes.
Lassa fever is also a viral, but they are the vector, the thing that brings it to man is different. For yellow fever is a mosquito. It's a mosquito species, not the same one that causes malaria. There are about
not the Anopheles, but
yes, there are three different species of mosquitoes that are of public health importance to man in this environment. You have the Anopheles, you have the Aedes, then you have the Culinis. Now the
Culinis.
The Culinis, that's what they call them. Don't worry. Don't get involved in all that. Just know that there are three. Okay. The one that causes malaria is one. Yes.
You've mentioned 2 phases.
Yes.
There's one that is not so dangerous.
That most people will recover from.
It gives it a rest, and then it goes on to a toxic phase.
Yes. It's not that, it just gives them a small respite.
Okay.
So they think they're okay.
But that second phase is the dangerous one.
Yes, that's where
it's
the
only about
complication
15% that crosses into that stage.
Yes.
Does it mean that we have more yellow fever than we are seeing?
Yeah. Because they're not going to test people who feel apparently okay after a small 4 days flu.
Okay.
Even if they ask you to do a test, you will not answer. You will say, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. You will say, I had malaria and I took alabuku, or I went to the chemist.
And I'm feeling better.
Or I just rested at home and I'm okay. Because you never get to the stage of having the toxic yellowness of the eye and skin. So that's the way it behaves. Now, out of those 15%, things are not done well on time. Half of them, 8 out of 100, may die.
Okay.
So the 20 you are saying...
In how much time? How much time?
Well, it depends. It depends. 1 2 weeks. It depends. What kills them the most is the bleeding and the loss of fluid from the hemorrhage. They bleed into their body organs. Yes. Okay. So they lose. It's like
what we're seeing coming out of the orifices is
small it's small compared to what is inside. Okay. So people the health personnel will understand when they see that there is much more. They check the blood pressure, and then they match replacement of fluid so that the blood pressure. But what kills is the drop in blood pressure. That's what we call they lose their blood pressure
and then pack up from there.
Yes.
Now this mosquito, I don't suppose it's everywhere, right?
Well,
where are the places that people can
it has its own. So in epidemiology, there are 3 things you notice in every ailment. You look at the interaction between the agents, which in this case is the mosquito, called the Aedes mosquito.
Yes.
It has its behavior. Then you look at the host, which is man. Then what is the interaction between man and the agent?
And the agent.
Okay, so it's a mosquito that loves staying in the forest. That's its natural habitat. However, man is doing more cultivation, cultivating and clearing more forest, so moving towards his own natural habitat. And so it has usually two types of life cycle. One that happens to people who work in the forest, and one that happens to people who live close to the forest, or people who go to do holiday. That some people go for camping.
Okay.
So they have entered the forest where the mosquitoes normally will be.
Is that something they can do to protect themselves
Yes, so
while they are in those places?
Exactly, because you now understand this. Now it also bites more in the day.
Okay, it's
So
a
its work is a
day-biting
day-biting
mosquito.
mosquito. Now for it to live, it has to lay eggs. And then the egg goes through the various stages of development before it becomes an adult. So to the eggs and the other stages are laid in clear water. So in the urban area, because we have now gone closer to the forest, right?
With our development.
Exactly. So anywhere that has, so naturally it will develop in clear stream.
Okay.
In the forest. But here, we don't have stream in the urban area, but we have tires lying around. When it rains,
okay.
and you know rainwater is clear water.
That's
so after
correct.
it rains,
buckets,
buckets, it settles and the water is clear like a stream. So the mosquitoes say, this is clear water. And then
and they begin to breathe.
Yes, it breathes. So bucket, tires, pans, and all that, they are just helping it to stay as a clear, slow stream.
We've got to go on a short break. Please stay with us. We're going on a short break. We'll be back soon. Welcome back. Call 0808-054-2233 to ask your questions, and you can tweet at CTV_Mary A for the same questions while we continue. We were talking about protection, prevention, and you've spoken about the water. But how about, you have to go to the farm, for example, and those mosquitoes are there. What do you do?
Well, let's take it one by one. This protection has to be taken as the primary prevention. Primary prevention has to do with behavior first and the health system.
Okay.
So what you asked about is the behavioral change action.
Yes.
So, yes, you should go to the farm. I mean, you can only farm in the morning. You can't be farming at night. So wear protective clothing or get anti-mosquito repellent that is
safe. What do you call protective clothing?
Okay, any clothing that covers you usually up to the elbows. And then
just blocking access to the mosquito.
Yes.
Okay.
However, that's challenging in the tropics where it is humid and sunny, and you have to farm. So it's not really practical. You're not going to see people going to farm in shirts.
That's true. It's hot.
Yeah. So what you can do is use for that you can use the repellent, mosquito repellent that has been approved by NAFDAC.
And it works?
Yes, it does. Okay. It does. It's 6 to 8 hours is the time frame. So that's one. Ensure that those who go to farm with their children, if the children are there, please ensure those children sleep under insecticide-treated net, even in your farmstead.
Okay.
Use insecticide-treated net.
Set up the net in the farm and let them be under it.
Yeah, even when you sleep under it during the day, even at home. So even at home, you can still do what they call indoor residual spraying. So that's not the regular DDT or the regular fleet. Let me use the local parlance.
Yes.
So that's not the regular parlance. That is sprayed on the wall, and it can be there for up to like 3 months.
So you've got to call in the experts to do that?
Yeah, you have to do that. Government has to do that. It's not you. So like in the areas where you have outbreak that they are prone, so you have to go and spray their wall, and it takes like 3 months. It's a long-lasting spray that stays on the walls.
But that makes you free from this mosquito?
No, that makes your risk down, not total. You can never say everything is total. But at least it gives you a better... So imagine you have a house that's been sprayed, then the people also sleep under net, and in the home, in the urban areas, you wear protective clothing. Now, but at the end, the best is to use a vaccine.
So,
because
let's
it's a
talk about
lifetime
this vaccine.
thing. Yes.
I'm aware it's in the EPI, the expanded program on immunization.
Yes.
But that's for children, 9 months old to 1 year old.
Yeah,
right?
that's because yellow fever vaccine is a lifetime protection practically.
But if we got it into the EPI in 2004, then some people are...
They didn't get it.
Not protected. That's
right.
No,
some people didn't get it. Yeah, because the rule of protection is for most vaccine-preventable disease. Let's make like a general thumb rule. Is that if you have 100 people in a place...
Can I pause you there for a short while? Let's take this call. Hello. I think Oyika is lost. Well, go on. You were saying if you have 100 people.
If you have 100 people, and that 100 people complete adults, children, middle-aged, aged. Okay, good. So let's say you have 100 children, EPI, 2004. If you're able to immunize 80 out of 100, those 80 will give protection to 20, and this is how.
That's what I love about herd immunity.
Yes, I don't want to be using grammar that would.
We all know the grammar. You know, COVID has taught us. COVID has taught us there.
This is how it is. So 80 out of 100 already are immune. Meaning if the mosquito bites somebody out of the 20, the chances of him biting another out of 20 is less. Because it's going to be 2 out of 10.
But 1 out of the 20, that means that person could get yellow fever, right?
No. If the mosquito bites somebody who has yellow fever amongst the 20.
Okay, who has the vaccine?
Yes. No. Who didn't have the vaccine?
Who didn't have the vaccine?
The chance that if it is going to go to someone else, it's not like going to be part of the 20, it's like going to be part of the 80.
I see. Okay.
So it will see nobody to give it to because this person is... Now, vice versa, the chance of mosquito biting that community will be more on the 80 than on the 20.
That's right.
So if he bites one of the 80, he's already protected.
He's already protected.
Good. So it's the chain is broken by 8 out of 10 being vaccinated. Now, but that means you must continue. So this year you do 8 out of 10 because these are children born under 1.
That's right.
So they'll stop being under 1 from after they are 1 year old.
But they're still carrying their protection.
Yes. Now, you have another set of 100 children born the next year. You must reach 8 out of 10.
Okay.
So that as you go forward, as they grow, always you have 8. So by next year, you're going to have 160 out of 200.
Okay, so I get it. You begin to get a nation that is covered.
Yes. So what
but
must have happened?
some people aren't covered and they are alive. What do we do about adults?
Are they
allowed to get the vaccine?
Of course. In the case of this outbreak, everybody in the community will be vaccinated. So we'll ensure that everybody is covered. Because for one reason or the other, it may actually not be because the whole community, it might just be migration of people from other areas who are not vaccinated that even came to...
And they carried it with them.
Yes. So you see, you cannot stop that. So meaning that if, let me use that example, let's say in community A, they're covered. But in 6 years' time, they've mixed with people in community B, C, and D. The number of people who are vaccinated will now drop. Meaning, we should not only think about those in places who have yellow fever. We should the whole country.
Okay.
So that wherever you go in Nigeria, people are 80% covered. Now, we must now think about migrants. And that's the reason you have this yellow card issue. So people don't want you to take it from an endemic area to areas where there's no endemic. So we also should keep our...
protect our borders.
Yeah, protect our border and ensure that our travel medicine is...
But we have yellow fever. We know that it's endemic here already. But it might not be endemic in other places.
Yes.
But let's say somebody has mixed with other endemic countries and is coming to Nigeria. What do you do about such a person? Should he get the yellow fever vaccine before entering the country?
Everybody should. If you are coming to our country, please get. The picture in Nigeria is not the same everywhere.
Let me quickly take this caller. Hello, Namdi.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your question?
I'm calling from Asaga State. Please, I want to know the symptoms, the difference between yellow fever and the ordinary fever or malaria.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Namdi. I'll have the doctor answer that. What's the difference? Yellow fever, malaria.
Okay, the difference is the type of mosquitoes are different.
The mosquito is different? Okay.
Yes, so, and the behavior of that mosquito is different. Now, the behavior of man is practically the same. We look for food. So, we will go to farm, we will go and farm. So, initially, you never know the difference because the symptoms are similar. However, by day 5, 6, 7, 8, malaria will not cause hemorrhage, will not cause you to start bleeding from your nose, from your ears, and it's not likely immediately to cause people to have a quick drop in their blood pressure, and that will cause to death within 2 to 3 minutes.
So after a while, the differences begin to show.
Yes, but
very quickly,
for that to happen.
Can someone who is newly
and then most
infected,
importantly, malaria is not vaccine preventable.
Yeah. Can somebody who is newly infected with yellow fever still get the vaccination? Is it good? Is it okay? Is it safe?
Well, it depends on it depends on what is saying. Because for them to say that you are infected, then you would have carried some form of immunity. But let that go to the health professional. They will see your level of protection from what you got and see if the vaccine will be a waste.
Okay.
Or you need to be revaccinated.
If I got a vaccine, maybe by some campaign somewhere, and I forgot, I'm not sure.
You're not sure you got it?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I go for another one?
Yeah, you can, but the health
professional
will have to be sure that what you got or what you remembered you got or didn't get has saved you. So they can take a test and check the number of antibodies to yellow fever in you.
Okay.
Now, the level of the antibody will tell them she's protected enough. Don't let's waste our vaccine.
Great. We have to stop it there. We've used up all our time. Thank you so much for coming. That was so interesting. Thank you for being there. Thank you, Nnamdi, for your call. Have a great day. I am Mary Alale Yusuf.